When I woke up in the hospital, I expected flowers. Instead, I got a letter that shattered my world. It came tucked inside a stack of mail my sister brought. Casual, unimportant, she said. But one envelope had my name printed in bold. When I tore it open, my eyes froze on the words, "Property transfer, completed." My house, my home, had been sold. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe a scam letter, maybe a mix-up. But when I looked closer, I saw my address. The little blue cottage by the lake that my late husband, Henry, and I had built brick by brick 40 years ago. Gone. And at the bottom of the page, where my signature should have been, was my sister Lydia's. My name is Evelyn Carter, and I've always believed that family is everything. After Henry passed, Lydia became my closest friend. She'd call me every morning. She'd bring groceries. On my birthdays, she'd bake that same lemon cake she knew I loved. When my doctor told me I needed heart surgery, Lydia was the first person I called. She said, "Don't you worry, Evie. I'll take care of everything." Her voice was warm, confident, comforting. I was scared, of course. But I trusted her. I always had. During my 2 weeks in the hospital, Lydia visited every day. She brought flowers, smiled for the nurses, told everyone she was my guardian angel. And when I thanked her for handling my bills, she brushed it off with a laugh. That's what sisters are for. How could I have known she was also signing my name, one forged line at a time, while I lay in that hospital bed fighting to live? When I was discharged, Lydia picked me up in her shiny black SUV. "Don't worry about the house right now," she said as we drove. "It's getting a little renovation. You'll love it when it's done." That sounded strange. We hadn't discussed any renovations. But I was weak and tired, and Lydia was persuasive. She dropped me off at a small Airbnb near town. "Just for a week," she promised, "until everything's ready." That week turned into 2, then 3, and when I finally insisted on going home, the for sale sign was gone. The mailbox had a new nameplate. And through the window, I saw strangers sitting at my kitchen table, my table, eating dinner. I froze on the front step, my hospital discharge papers still in hand. The new owner, a kind man named Mr. Chen, came outside. "Can I help you?" he asked gently. I stammered, This is my home." He looked at me sadly. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I bought it 3 weeks ago. The woman who sold it said she was your sister. She said you were moving overseas." My heart dropped. I couldn't breathe. When I called Lydia, my voice shook so badly I could barely speak. "Lydia, what did you do?" She didn't sound guilty. She sounded annoyed. "Oh, Evie, don't be dramatic. You couldn't manage that house anymore. The stairs, the garden, it was too much." "I sold it for your own good, my own good," I cried. "You stole my home." She sighed like she was scolding a child. "I didn't steal it. I made a practical decision. The money's safe in an account I'm managing for you. I'll help you budget." "Lydia, you had no right." "I had every right," she snapped. "You're not well, Evie. You forget things. You need guidance. Be grateful I'm here." And then she hung up. That night, I sat in a motel off Highway 42, the kind of place that smelled like stale cigarettes and lost dreams. I stared at the walls until dawn, unable to sleep. How could someone who tucked me into bed after surgery forge my name and sell my house? The next morning, I opened my wallet. Empty. Lydia had helped me set up direct deposits. Now everything was gone. I was alone, broke, and homeless. And worst of all, the person who did it shared my blood. Days later, something small but powerful shifted in me. I remembered a night years ago. Henry, sitting by the fireplace, polishing his old pipe, saying, "If anything ever happens, Evie, check the attic beam." That's our backup plan. At the time, I thought it was sentimental nonsense, but now, I went back to the house pretending I'd left mail behind. Mr. Chen, kind as ever, let me look around. The attic smelled of dust and memories, and there, behind the beam, was a small wooden box, just like Henry said. Inside, a stack of letters, a few old savings bonds, and a USB drive labeled Deed and Legal Docs. I didn't even know what a USB drive was until a young librarian helped me open it. What I found nearly made me cry. scanned copies of every legal document Henry ever kept, including the house deed. And at the bottom, a clause stating that the property could not be sold or transferred without my verified, notarized consent, meaning Lydia's sale was completely illegal. I called an old friend, Tom Rivers, a retired lawyer who'd once helped Henry with insurance papers. When I told him what happened, he was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Evelyn, you've got a solid case. Let's get your home back." For the first time in months, I felt something fierce spark inside me, not anger, not grief, but power. Tom helped me gather evidence, bank statements, forged signatures, proof of power of attorney falsification. Then, without warning Lydia, we filed charges: fraud, forgery, elder financial abuse. The next time I saw Lydia was in court. She swept in wearing a pearl necklace and a smug smile. "This is ridiculous," she told the judge. "My sister is confused. She's not of sound mind." Tom stood calmly. "Your Honor, if my client is so confused, how did she find this?" He held up the original USB drive, and the courtroom went silent. He presented the clause, the forged notary stamp, and proof that Lydia had transferred funds from my account to hers. The color drained from her face. She tried to protest, but her voice cracked. When the judge spoke, his tone was firm. "Mrs. Carter, you are fully competent and have been the victim of fraudulent activity by your sister. The property transfer is hereby nullified. Full ownership is restored to you." I didn't celebrate. I just closed my eyes and let a single tear fall. Justice didn't bring joy. It brought peace. The aftermath, I moved back to my little blue cottage. It was half empty, but it was mine. The first thing I did was replant Henry's roses. As I pressed the soil with my bare hands, I whispered, "I found my way home, love." A few weeks later, Lydia sent me a letter. It said, "Can we start over?" I didn't respond. Some wounds need silence, not forgiveness. The new beginning life became gentle again. I joined a local book club. I volunteered at the senior center. I even started painting, something I'd always wanted to try but never had time for. One afternoon, a young woman from the neighborhood came to my garden. She'd just lost her parents and didn't know how to go on. I handed her a rose and said softly, "Start with something that can grow again." She smiled through her tears. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. Home isn't a place. It's the strength to rebuild after being broken. I lost my house once, but I found something far greater, myself.